Hello everyone, welcome to another session on Sadvidya Sambhasha. Today would be discussing on a very new area. We will be discussing about a few medicinal plants which are useful in skin diseases. So the main objectives of today's session would be we would do a comprehensive study of the herb, which it includes nomenclature, synonyms, morphology, gunakarma of these five herbs, and we would discuss a little detail about the prayoga, especially of these five herbs in skin ailments. So moving on to the first herb, that is Aragvada, which is botanically identified as Cassia fistula, and this belongs to the family Cisalpinaceae. So Cassia fistula of Cisalpinaceae family. The word Aragvada, this is the base name of the plant. Let's understand why it's called Aragvada. Asamantat rujam vadho atra. Ruja here refers to diseases. So since this plant has the ability to kill diseases, especially skin and other allied conditions, the plant is named as Aragvada. Let's see some of the vernacular names. In Kannada is known as Kakkekai, in Hindi Amaltas, and in English it is known as Indian laburnum or the purging fistula. So since it has one of the important karma of purgation, it is known as purging fistula. Some important synonyms. It is known as Kritamala because the plant, the branches droop down as mala, hence called as Kritamala. Karnabharana refers to the flowers which were once used as ornaments for the ear, hence Karnabharana referring to the flowers. Chaturangula refers to the fruits which are very elongated and has seeds at regular intervals, hence called as Chaturangula. Dirghaphala is referred to the fruits of Aragvada. Rajavriksha refers to the entire tree. And at at certain places we see this plant grown as an avenue tree also nowadays. Moving on to the classification, we find in Charaka Mahakashaya it's referred under Kushtagna, Kandugna and Virechinopaga. So you can very clearly make out why I chose Aragvada for skin ailments. It has two important karmas as in Kushtagna and Kandugna. Sushruta puts Aragvada under Aragvadadi, Shyamadi Varga and Bhav Prakasha under Haritakyadi Varga. Moving on to its distribution, this is commonly seen in various regions of the country, like you find it being distributed in Gangetic plains, in central parts of India, and even in southern India, you find this plant in plenty. Morphologically, it is a deciduous tree with drooping branches. Remember the synonym Krutamala here. So this is how the plant looks. As you can make out from the picture here, completely yellow with the flowers. So it is during flowering season, you would find this as a very beautiful tree. Probably that's why it is called as Rajavriksha. And no, at many places we find this grown even as an avenue tree. So the basic habitat is it's a tree. Leaf is it's a compound leaf, unipinnately compound with peripinnate leaflets and very large leaves, as you can make out that it is 23 to 40 centimeters long. So this is how the leaf would look, a compound leaf with leaflets on either side and ends with two leaflets, and that's why it is called as peripinnate. A close-up of the leaf, as you can see two leaflets ending. So this is what is called as peripinnate. And as it moves to the lower, you have slightly smaller leaflets. This is the under surface, which is slightly dull in color when compared to the glossy upper surface. Leaflets. The shape of the leaflets are ovate, as very clearly seen in this, while glossy and greener above and slightly pale beneath. So it is very clear to differentiate the shape and the color of the upper and the lower surface. Inflorescence is the raceme. So as you can see in this picture, you find a peduncle, long stalk, on which you have laterally arranged flowers. Since you can make out very clearly, you have buds at the the lower end, and you have opened flowers at the lower part. So this is a typical example for a raceme inflorescence. Flowers are yellow colored. So these are the flowers which were at one time probably used as Karanabharana, hence the synonym yellow colored flowers having Karanabharana. Close up of the flower. Fruits, these are very long indehiscent pods and initially would be bright green in color, cylindrical pods as you can see, and gradually they turn brownish black in color. This is the fruit. So a very long fruit growing to almost 30 to 40 centimeter in length. This is the inside of the fruit. You know, Dirgha Phala or Chaturangula refers to the synonyms, refers to the fruit. As you can see, at regular intervals, you find the blackish pulp and a single seed. So in a very raw fruit, you would find them green with a white colored seed. But as it completely matures, you find the pulp which is brownish black with brown color, seeds which are ovate and light brown. So these are the seeds which are embedded in the very sweety pulp in the fruits, which is also incidentally the used part of Aragvada, one of the used parts of Aragvada. The other used parts of Aragvada are leaf, flowers, but most important being the fruit pulp, which is available in these elongated fruits in between the seeds, or the seeds are embedded within the sweetish fruit pulp. Let's move on to the phytoconstituents of this plant. Leaves, which are also the used part, have lot of glycosides and tannins. Pulp have anthraquinone glycosides, and that is the reason for its Sramsana karma as well. Apart from that, it also contains proteins, glucose, and fistolic acid. Rasa Panchaka, as I've told you earlier also, Madhura Rasa, Guru Guna, Shita Virya, and Madhura Vipaka, and is said to have Tridoshahara effect. Important karmas and indications, we have understood that it's a very important example for Sramsana. It is also referred to as Mrudurechaka by Charaka. So, and very important karma is it's in Kushtagna. And you know that Charaka Mahakashaya refers it in under Kandugna Mahakashaya. So one indication is in Kandu. Since it's a Mrudu Virechaka, you can also make use it in Rakta Pitta conditions or Pitta Vriddhi conditions where you require Rechana. Let's see the Prayoga of Aragvada, especially in skin ailments. The fruit pulp, if it's given for therapeutic purpose, it's 5 to 10 grams. But if you are planning for giving the fruit pulp for Mrudu Rechana, then 10 to 20 grams is the recommended dose. Therapeutic uses, now this is a combination where in ringworm or in many of the other skin ailments, leaves are pounded along with kanji, and this can be applied externally. It's not just for ringworm infestation, but even in other conditions of skin ailments, this combination can be made use of. So here is the leaves which are being used. In another, as I told you, you can also use it in Rakta or in Pitta aggravated conditions. So in Visarpa, there is the combination of leaf kalka along with ghee, which is applied externally. In Kushta, Patrakvata is recommended both internally and externally for maybe even Prakshalana. Internally also it can be given. So this is, you can see just single herbs which are used in skin diseases. This is another combination where root bark ghee is prepared. So you take root bark kalka, then kashaya of the same. Grita preparation is done as per the standard protocol, and this particular grita is taken along with Kadirakvata. This is also a classical reference which has been given in the condition of skin diseases. So I have just referred to Aragvada Patra and different parts which are used in skin disease. But always remember, you require Mrudu Rechana in Kushta and or any other skin ailments, wherein fruit pulp can be used as Mrudu Rechaka. So the classical reference, you can see Bhavaprakasha Nigantu stating Aragvado Guruhu Svaduhu Shitalaha Sramsanottamaha. So it's one of the best for Sramsana Karma. Jvara Hrudroga Pittasra Vata Udavarta Shulanu. So in case where you have Jwara or Hridroga, it is where you require Rechana karma. So either there should be Pitta or Rakta being involved. You can think of Aragvada as a Mrudu Rechaka in these conditions. So let's move on to the second herb which you can use in skin disease. The well-known Khadira, botanically identified as Acacia catechu and belongs to the family Mimosaceae. So you may have heard earlier in many instances Khadira being the best Kushtagna. It's also stated as one among the Agrya. Let's see why it's known as Khadira. Khadati sthiram tishtati hinastirocha rogan iti. So it destroys diseases and brings back sthiratva or the normalcy. Hence it is called as Khadira. In Kannada it is known as Kachu. Probably many of you may have heard it being used even in pans. So small brown peas which is added, there also it is referred to as Kachu. In Hindi khair and in English it's known as the Kach tree. Some synonyms with reference to its morphological features. Bahushalya. Since you find stipular spines, so that is stipules being modified into spines in this particular plant, Bahushalya refers to this. Shalya means something which will prick you. Bahushalya. Jihmashalya also refers to the same. Raktasara refers to the sara, which is the used part, the heart wood, which is used by different processes and used therapeutically for its use in kushta. Kushtagna is a synonym which gives us a very important karma for which it is well known. Kushtagna refers to its one of the karma. Dantadhavana. You remember reading in Dinacharya the kashtas which are recommended for Dantadhavana. Khadira is one. Khadira kakubadijam. So you find as the sticks or the twigs of Khadira which can be used for Dantadhavana, which also comes to be called as a synonym for Khadira. Gayatri refers to its auspicious nature, and in many times you find this twigs being used and leaves being used in auspicious homas, and hence you have a synonym called as Gayatri. So these are a few important synonyms describing the morphological features of Khadira. Classification, Charaka refers it under Kushtagna, Udarda Prashamana and Mutra Sangrahaniya Mahakashaya. So now you can understand I have chosen this the best drug for Kushta, Khadira, also referred by Charaka Mahakashaya. Sushruta under Salasaradi and Bhav Prakasha under Vatadi Varga. Distribution, this is a plant which we commonly see in dry parts of the country, not easily found throughout, especially not found in marshy areas or there where is heavy rainfall. So this is a plant which grows in dry regions, as also you can understand from the morphological features, very small leaflets with lot of spines on the plant. Let's see the morphology. Before we move on to the refer to only one Nigantu, Bhavaprakasha, who refers to three different types. The first one is Khadira, that is Acacia catechu. The other one is Shweta Khadira, which in other instances are also referred to as Kadara, which is botanically identified as Acacia summa. And Wit Khadira, also known as Irineda, is Acacia farnaceana. Let's see the pictures of these two plants. So they on the top you can find Irineda, Acacia farnaceana, and on the lower down you find Acacia summa. So these two, all these plants look similar, but there are certain differentiating features with their flowers and fruits by which you can still differentiate these different species. Now we will discuss the morphological feature of Acacia catechu, which is a moderate sized tree. It is a tree again, but does not grow to a very large height. So it is called as a moderate sized tree. As you can see in the previous picture, these have large leaves, but they are bipinnately compound. So in Aragvada, it was unipinnately compound. Here you find they are bipinnately compound and they have spines. The spines are because the stipules are modified into spines. They are hooked with a broad triangular base. This is one feature which you can keep for identification purpose. These spines have a triangular base. This is a close-up of the twig. Now you can very clearly see this is the one single leaf. This is the main peduncle, the main rachis, and followed by a secondary rachis. You find the leaflets arranged on the secondary rachis, and hence this is a bipinnate leaf compound. And as you can observe here at the base of every leaf, there are two stipular spines at each of these base of the leaf. Leaflets. So leaflets, it can vary from 30 to 50 pairs, and they're very linear, as you can see in each of these particular leaflets here. They're very, very small. Inflorescence is a spike inflorescence. Spike is also a type of raceme. So you can make out this is the main peduncle. You have the older flowers at the lower and the younger flowers at the top. But all these flowers are sessile, and hence this forms a spike inflorescence. Flowers are slight dull yellowish in color, as you can see, and a very nice picture to differentiate and this is a close-up of the flower inflorescence. Fruits are pods in color. So these are how the pods of Khadira would look. Flat pods which are brown in color. The used parts, Sara, heartwood, Raktasara is one of the synonym, recollect right here. And this is what I told you. So the boiled portion of the Sara is called as katta and sold in the market. These are found as cubical dark brown pieces, which are also used in pan. So commercially, they have a lot of value for both this type of katta, okay, which are sold in the market, apart from its therapeutic uses. Phytochemistry of Khadira is catechin, tannin, and catechin are some of the important composition because of which you find Kashaya rasa also predominantly in this plant. Rasa Panchaka, it is Kashaya Tikta, Laghu Ruksha, Shita Virya, Katu Vipaka, it is Kapha Pittahara. Important karmas, as I have stated earlier, this is the Agriya karma for Khadira is Kushtagna. It is also Dantya. Remember, it is the twigs are used for Dantadavana. Indicated in Kasa, probably you've heard of Khadiradi Vati, which is very useful in Kasa, and also referred under Medo Roga Prakarana. So Kashaya can also be used in Medo as Medohara. Let's see the Prayoga with very special reference to skin ailments. Kvata, if given, it is 40 to 60 ml. Some therapeutic uses. Kushta, if you open any classical text and go to Kushta Chikitsa, you find Khadira being used in any of the form, either Pana, Parisheka, Avagaha. In any form, Khadira can be used as a single herb or combined with other Kushtagna Dravyas. In Shvitra also, Khadira Kashaya is recommended. In Vrana, Khadira decoction not only given internally but also as external prakshalana is recommended. Some formulations, Khadira Rishta, Khadira Adivati and Khadira Kvata. So let's see the classical reference or the other karmas which are attributed to Khadira. Khadira Shitalo Dantyaha, Kandu Kasaruchi Pranut, Tikta Kashayo Medognaha, Krumi Neha Jwara Vranan. So you find Jwara being enlisted both in Arakuda and Khadira, but you should always understand in which condition of Jwara it can be used. Or else the other important indications which we very commonly use Khadira are Kandu, Krumi and Kushta. So let's move on to the third herb, that is Kumari. Most of you may be growing these plants at your home. So make a keen note of where all the conditions you can make use of Kumari, a very useful plant not only in skin diseases but also in other conditions. Kumari, which is botanically identified as aloe vera and belongs to Liliaceae family. Why is it called as a Kumari? Interesting to know that because this is a plant which grows in arid regions, does not require much water. So Kumarayati Kridate Svalpenapi Jalena Sheetalatvat, and also it has Sheeta Guna. Hence it is called as Kumari. Vernacular names in Kannada it is known as Lolesara, in Hindi Ghikumari or Grid Kumari, and in English it is known as the Indian aloe. Of course, all over the world you would find different varieties of aloes. So here I would be referring to the ones which we usually find or come across in Indian subcontinent. Synonyms, most of them are referred to its features and morphological features. Grita Kumari, Vipulasrava, which is referring to the leaf which contains lot of moisture in it. So as you can see in this picture, if you remove the outer leaf covering, you find a jelly-like substance at the center. So this is the water content which is present and hence called as Vipulasrava. Stula dala. So these leaves are very big and very thick and hence called as Stula dala. Dala refers to the leaf. Griha Kanya is another feature which is also stating that it is useful in many menstrual disorders, hence called as Griha Kanya. Classification, Bhav Prakasha refers this particular plant under Guruchyadi Varga. It is actually a plant indigenous to eastern and southern Africa. But of late we find this plant being cultivated even in homes, in gardens for not just ornamental purpose but also for its therapeutic use. Morphologically, this is a perennial herb and the stem very short and thick. Probably many of you would have not even seen the short stem which is underneath and they would be very thick. So this is how the plant looks. This is how the plant looks. See, this is under cultivation. Obviously, for reasons, the plant is not only used in Ayurvedic field, but the glycosides obtained from this are used even for commercial purpose. So this is the plant, the entire plant, as you can see, the underground stem is not at all visible in this case. This is the plant, another close-up of the plant. Leaves are sessile and radical and arranged as if in the petals of a rose. So it is called as rosette. And the shape of the leaf is lanceolate and it's rather concave in one area, one surface and has a spiny margin. So as you can observe in this particular picture, you find that the leaves are radical. They don't have a stalk. So they are sessile and radically arranged arising from the underground stem. They are lanceolate in shape. You can very clearly observe the very sharp margin. So this is the spines or the spiny margin. Another picture to show you how they are arranged. So these are directly arising from the underground stem and hence called as radical leaves. They don't have any stalk. And this very clearly shows the spiny margin on the leaves which are very, very succulent. Inflorescence is a raceme inflorescence. This is how these are scapes, called as scapes. They don't have leaves on the surface of this particular stalk, hence called as scapes, and is the raceme inflorescence with either yellow or orange color flowers. And fruits are capsules. Anyway, these two parts are not the useful, therapeutically useful part. The part used is the leaf pulp, for which we make use either in external application or internally in many diseases. Chemical composition, aloin, alloimodine, and alloresine. These are the important composition for its various karmas. Like even it's a Vedana karma. If given the juice, if given in large quantity, can act little as a drastic purgative also, because of these phytoconstituents which are present in the plant. Rasa, the pulp, the leaf pulp is Dikta, Guru Snigdha Pichila, Shita Virya, Katuvipaka, and is Vata Pittahara. Some important karmas and indications. It is Netriya. So even you can make packs as we use it in Pindi, the Netra Pindi, very useful even in Netra Rogas. Other indications in Tvak Vikara, even in Agni Dagda Vrana, very simple and easy remedy if you happen to have these plants growing at your home. And even useful in Yakrit Vikara, and of course I have not referred to its use in very many menstrual disorders as well. Prayoga, especially with reference to skin diseases, Swarasa, if given single, it is 10 to 20 ml. Therapeutic uses in Dagda Vrana, just the external pulp, the pulp can be applied externally in Dagda Vrana. Then in Vicharchika, this is an application of Haridra and Kumari. So you just have to make a paste of this Of course, it's slightly difficult to make a paste, but on making this, it can be applied externally on the surface wherever it is affected. But remember to monitor the course of the treatment, because sometimes it can lead to dryness and thereby aggravating the situation. So keep a note whenever it's given, do monitor the different stage so that you can have a better efficacy. Otherwise, many of you would be aware that Kumari is or aloe vera is a component of many of the herbal products, so-called herbal products available in the market in cosmetics, and you find externally you can just apply as a very good skincare on regular basis, even during healthy conditions. Some formulations like Kumari Asava, of course, you can use it in many other conditions, but specifically indicated in menstrual disorders. Rajah Pravartini where Kumari is one of the ingredient, also helps to rectify menstrual disorders. The other karmas and indications like Kumari, Bhedani, Shita, Tikta, Netriya, Rasayani, so can also be used as a Rasayana, Madura, Brahmani, Balya, Vrishya, Vata, Vishaprunut. So this is just part of the quotation giving as a few karma and indications of Kumari. Let's move on to the next herb, that is Haridra. Well known, well heard of, maybe even your grannies and mothers will be using this, and we also advise you to use. Let's understand more about this plant where you can use in skin diseases. Botanically identified as Curcuma longa, belongs to Gingiberaceae family. Nirukti, Haritam Varnam, Halim Kakyam Drati Apasarayati iti. So you all have seen Haridra, which has yellow color and is also having the ability to use it in Halimaka disease. Hence it is called as Haridra. Vernacular names in Kannada, it is known as Arishina, in Hindi, Haldi, and in English, turmeric. Some synonyms, interesting ones, Nisha, which refers to the color again here, Krimigna, one of the important karmas of Haridra, Ranjani, in ancient times, this plant, the rhizomes of this were used to color clothes, and hence you have Ranjani. And Yoshita Priya, since very commonly used by ladies or girls, this has a synonym. It is one which is liked by Yoshita, hence called as Yoshita Priya. Hatta Vilasini is another synonym for Haridra. Classification, Charaka describes it under Kushtagna, Vishagna, and Lekhaniya Mahakashaya. Sushruta under Haridradi, Mustadi, while Bhav Prakasha under Haritakyadi Varga. Of late, you find this a very important commercial crop as well as a very important spice. So this is under cultivation, and that's how we obtain even for pharmaceutical industries or for therapeutic purpose. Varieties, Bhavaprakash Nighantu refers to these following varieties. The first one is Haridra, which we are right now discussing, that is Curcuma longa. There is another plant called as Daru Haridra. So whenever Haridra Dvaya is seen in any formulations, it refers to Haridra and Daru Haridra, which is Berberis aristata. The other Haridra is Vana Haridra, which is a wild variety, which is Curcuma aromatica, and Ambragandhi Haridra or Ambra Haridra, which is Curcuma amada, the rhizomes of which has a very characteristic mango flavor and hence called as Ambragandhi Haridra. We would be discussing about the morphological features of Haridra now. A tall rhizomatous herb. So it is one which grows with the underground rhizomes. This is how the plant looks. So you can see it's an erect plant, but it is a herb. And these are the underground rhizomes by which it continues to grow after when you will get a favorable season. And this is also the used part, the rhizomes. Leaves are long, oblong, and tapering at the base. These are how the leaves look. So as you can see, it has an acute to acuminate apex. Very broad leaf, almost looks oblong, but as they reach the lower surface, it narrows. So it is tapering at the base. This is how the leaf with the stalk which attaches to the stem looks like. Another picture of the leaf. Inflorescence is a spike, and this is how the inflorescence looks, the spike with large bracts. Flowers are pale yellow or pinkish white. This is how you have slight yellow and pinkish white colored flowers being attached to the large leafy bracts. Parts used, rhizome or kanda, are the used part. This is how they look. It would also have a mother, and these are the daughter rhizomes which you can see, the daughter tubers. So this is the therapeutically used part of Haridra. Phytoconstituents, there are many constituents found. Some This major is the volatile oil, and volatile oil is said to contain alpha, beta, pinene, camphorine. There is also resin, and the yellow color is because of the curcuminoids. And one of the very important is curcumin, which has been investigated for its various activities, from being just as simple anti-inflammatory to also anti-cancerous activity. Let's see its Rasa Panchaka, Tikta Katu, Laghu Ruksha Guna, Ushna Virya Katu Vipaka, and it is Kapha Pittahara. So you can analyze the Rasa Panchaka and come to how its action is on its doshas. Important karmas, excuse me, Varnya, Kushtagna, and Krimigna. Indicated in Meha, also you may be aware of the combination of Amalaki and Haridra, which is very effective even in diabetes. Indicated in Tvak, Vikara, and Brana. Moving on to its prayoga with special reference to skin diseases, Churna, if given separately as a single herb, can be given from 2 to 4 grams. Therapeutic uses in Kushta, this is a combination of Haridra, single herb, with Gomutra. Both are given bhavana in it. The Haridra is given bhavana with Gomutra, and this is applied externally. And in Vrana external application, this is probably a childhood's remedy. Even when you had a fall or you had hurt yourself, maybe your parents and grandparents had advised you just go and apply Haridra on the wound. And to improve complexion, this is also a combination from the classical text, a combination of Haridra and Rakta Chandana, which is given bhavana along with milk and applied externally to improve one's complexion. Some formulations, Haridra Kanda, which can also be used in allergic conditions. If you have constant cough, cold, and respiratory illness, then Haridra Kanda could be taken. Haridra di Lepa, which is for external application in case of skin ailments, and Nishamalaki Churna, which is commonly recommended in diabetes. Let's see the classical reference. Haridra Katuka Pitta Rukshoshna Kapha Pittanu Varnya Tvak Dosha Mehasra Shota Pandu Vranapaha. So with this, we move on to the next herb, that is Nimba, botanically identified as Azadirachta indica, belonging to Meliaceae family. Now, the word Nimba, the derivation goes like this: Nimbati Sinchati Swasthyaniti Swastavruta Yavat. So this removes the diseases and establish swasthya, hence called as Nimba. Sinchana, it does Sinchana of swasthya, hence called as Nimba. Vernacular names, in Kannada it is known as Baby Namara, in Hindi it's Neem, and in English it is Neem or Margosa, another name for the neem plant. Synonyms, few ones. Hingu Niryasa is a synonym. Don't worry, why is it related to Hingu, which is a completely different plant? The plant, when it is hurt, releases a secretion which resembles in color to the Niryasa of Hingu, hence has a synonym Hingu Niryasa. Arishta, because it overcomes the diseases, especially skin diseases, it is called as Arishta. Krimigna, one important karma of neem. And Pichumarda, and again referring to its activities on skin diseases. Sutikta refers to its nature, that is the rasa. It is a very bitter. Many of you must have tasted it. At least the flowers during a very important festival in India called as Ugadi, where we have a custom of taking neem along with jaggery. So you have realized the Tikta rasa of Nimba. Classification in Charaka refers it under Kandugna, so that's how we can also make use in skin diseases where there is Kandu. Sushruta under Aragudadi, Guduchyadi, Bhava Prakasha also refers it under Guduchiyadi. Where do you find this plant? This is a plant which is commonly seen in drier regions comparatively, and many a times we find this growing as a very good avenue tree also in even many cities. Varieties, this is from with reference to many textbooks and nighantus referring to varieties of Nimba. The present we are discussing is Zideracta indica, which is called as Nimba. Mahanimba is Nilia zideractica. Parvata Nimba is Ailanthus excelsa, which is also referred to at many places as Aralu. And the last one is Akasha Nimba, which is identified as Malingtonia horensis. So these are the four different varieties of Nimba. Azadiracta indica is a large tree. This is how it would look, large tree, a twig of the plant. Leaf are compound, alternate and imparipinnate. So this is the twig of Nimba. As you can very clearly see, you have a single leaf having leaflets. It usually ends in a single leaflet and hence called as imparipinnate. Leaflet is the shape of the leaflet is lanceolate, and as you can see it is slightly curved. So this is called as falcate, and the margin is dentate. The very clear picture to show you the shape of the leaf. It is broader at the base and narrow at the apex, but has a curve, and hence it is lanceolate to falcate, and with a margin which is dentate. It is directed directly at 90 degrees, and hence this is called as a dentate margin. Inflorescence is an axillary panicle. So you find this is a twig showing you the flowers. A panicle is one which branches to give flowers. A raceme, a compound raceme is a panicle. As very clearly I can observe that it is branching in this case. Flowers are white. Picture of the flowers of a Nimba. Fruit is a drupe and contains a single seed. These are the fruits, light greenish colored fruits, which have a single seed in each of these fruits. So seed oil is also one of the important used part of Nimba. Used part, every part of this plant is useful in various conditions. It could be just the leaves, you think, the flowers, the nivyasa, the pushpa, the bark. So you may have heard of Panchanimba Churna, where the 5 different parts of the plant are useful therapeutically. Phytochemistry, azadirachtin, azadirachtin, nimbin, and nimidol are a few chemical compositions which you can remember and also being investigated for its different activities. Rasa Panchaka, it's Tikta Kashaya, so Tiktaka is a synonym. Laghu Rukshaguna, Katu Vipaka, and Shita Virya, it is Pitta and Kapahara. Important karmas and indications, it's very useful in Krimi, it's a Kushtagna Dravya, very good Rakta Shodaka. Probably you would have seen many Ayurvedic physicians giving herbs containing Nimba, Manjishta, these as a very good Rakta Shodaka. One of the ingredient would be Nimba, indicated in Vrana, Trishna and Jwara. With reference to Kushta, we find the Swarasa can be given at the dose of 10 to 20 ml. In Kushta, this is a combination where Nimba and Vidanga is mixed along with Gomutra and applied externally. Nimba and Vidanga, which is applied externally. Another in Kushta is use of Nimba with Amalaki along with ghee, both given internally and as well as externally. Another combination of Nimba and Aragvada. Remember, we just discussed about Aragvada, which is also a very good Kandugna and Kushtagna. So in Tvak Vikara, a combination of Nimba and Aragvada Patra external application is stated. Some formulations, Panchanimba Churna, Tikgrita and Nimbamrita Avi Kashaya. So the classical reference, Nimbaha Shito Lagur Grahi, Katupako Agnivatanat, Ahridya, Shramatrut, Kasa Jwarachari, Aruchi, Krumi Pranut. So these are the other indications in which we can make use of Nimba. So I would like to acknowledge using many photographs from this particular website, and I also refer to many other pictures as well. So thank you for this session on a few medicinal plants used in skin ailments. Thank you.